How's it going, everybody? This is Novakast back with another video for you guys. And in this video, I plan on doing or at least, at the very least, looking at K9-Aversion's community page on her YouTube channel. Or, if anything, looking at a few of her posts. Because, honestly, it's kind of funny, especially when it comes down to some of the things she says and posts on the platform. Considering that, again, a lot of she posts is delusional and biased when it comes down to the rhetoric she tries to spin when it comes down to dogs. But before we do that, there is a couple things I want to address. First off, there's been a couple of people that have been requesting me do a video on the other individual, or at least I think the one that really kind of started this whole I hate dog community / cult, which being I hate dogs. And to some degree, I think I've done videos on him in the past, but more so I've avoided talking about him because, let's face it, with a lot of his videos, they're like close to, at least as they were at the beginning, about 45 minutes going on to an hour to 2 hour live streams. So there is a lot of nonsense to go through and kind of sift through. So to a large degree, I've been kind of pushing back on that one, but I might do a quick synopsis video or quick opinions video like I've been doing with this individual, like K9-Aversion, when it comes to what she says and does, as well as, debunking a lot of the things she says and does. But just so you guys know, I do plan on doing a video on him, but at this time, I've just been... K9-Aversion has been posting stuff that honestly will make you laugh and make you kind of, I don't know if I could say pity, just to an extent, kind of just have a laugh at to a large degree, especially with how delusional some of the things she says is. And by the way, speaking of delusional and speaking of I hate dogs, in one of the requests that somebody has asked of me, one of them involving, I guess, I hate dogs, making a comment about how all dog owners teach their dogs to maul children, by which I got this comment.
Well, they do when they give them squeaky toys. See my comment above. Doggies play at pretend killing of small, helpless creatures. It excites them and gives them pleasure.
I smell job. You're ugly.
I cannot make this shit up. And it doesn't help, too, that this one individual also posted an article talking about the effects that squeaky toys have on dogs. And in part of that article, talks about how that not all dogs are motivated or are interested in squeaky toys. So It always amuses me, especially when these individuals, especially like this one who I've showcased for this first part of the video, doesn't even go over all of the information that they post. Only nitpicking certain objects of articles and saying, oh, this proves everything that I've been saying about dogs, when clearly it doesn't. Just like how in a lot of times where K9-Aversion has noted articles talking about the aggressive behaviors of certain dogs, but doesn't even bring up the fact that in a lot of those articles, they talk about how those aggressive behaviors can be, not all the time, but can be prevented. So the just ultimate dishonesty from these individuals is constantly amusing to a large degree. But enough roasting that one individual for not knowing what the fuck they're talking about. Let's go ahead and roast K9-Aversion for being K9-Aversion. And just so you guys are aware, I'm only going to show a couple of the most recent ones, at least as far as as I'm recording this video. So it's going to be interesting, especially with a couple of these.
I don't understand how most of my videos have under 1K views when I've got 2.56K subs. Who are these 1.56K people who are subbed to me but not watching my videos? I wish there was a way to bring more traffic to my channel. More people need to hear my message, or our message. I don't want to ask people to hit the like and subscribe buttons and share my videos, because that seems like pathetic attention-seeking behavior. Not the attention I crave is not for myself, it's for the cause. The cause. I am desperate for the killing of babies to stop. I am desperate for the killing of elderly people to stop. I am desperate for cats to quit killing wildlife. I can't take it anymore. I am desperate for people to wake up. Have you shared my videos with others? If so, what was your experience? If not, why not? And in the categories for this, rating or poll, the first one was, yes, I have shared them and have suffered the repercussions. That was 17%. Yes, I have shared them and have suffered no repercussions. 12%. No, I have not shared them, but I am thinking about sharing them. That's 22%. And myself, and 49%. No, I have not shared them, and I won't be sharing them.
Because let's face it, the people that are more likely watching her videos, or at least more of the people that are watching her videos, are the people that are disgusted by some of the things she says, especially when it comes to, being dishonest about dog owners in general, as well, or at least lumping bad dog owners with good dog owners. And for the most part, especially when people try to, give their opinions, she silenced them by deleting comments and deleting a variety of different posts that are on her channel. So to a degree, that would be a perfect explanation as to why, the numbers don't make sense to her. But what do I know? And with that, let's move on.
I am currently feeding at least 3 nesting hummingbirds, which means I'm helping to raise a minimum of 6 babies this summer. It's too bad the rufous hummingbird population has been declining because people oppose the culling of feral cats and let their pet cats roam. The rufous hummingbird lost 62% of its population from 1966 to 2011. If things don't change, these birds, along with many other amazing species, will go extinct. Please keep your cats indoors, promote culling, and encourage others to do the same.
Now, in case people didn't understand, because K9-Aversion is selectively using the word culling on purpose, that just, by definition, just means, selective slaughter, or killing of an animal. By which case, when it comes to, at this point, if it's not a big, at this very point, and it sucks, but if it's not a large enough problem, then they aren't going to do it, especially when it comes down to the government or whatever area she is living in. So it's, if they aren't or don't consider it as a huge problem or big issue, they aren't going to promote it. Another thing too is it's funny that she wants to, tell people to keep their cats indoors when she has repeatedly discussed or talked about the smells of cats and has basically shunned people for having cats repeatedly. I honestly think it's, funny and hypocritical.
Someone commented on my channel recently telling me I need help. I hear this a lot, but no one can ever specify what exactly I need help with.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Continue. Let's continue.
And that I should go to their country, India, to do yoga. Doing so, they assure me, would surely result in me growing to love dogs. When you consider the misery that dogs bring to the Indian subcontinent, you have to wonder who needs the yoga here.
And in the community post that she presented to us, there's also a link to a video from BBC News discussing the problem in Leh, India, and their feral population dog population in that area. But here's the thing. What K9-Aversion isn't going to talk about is, compared to a lot of other countries, this is a more of a third world country area where, especially when it comes down to the dog populations, there is going to be a lot of issues and a lot of shortage of people that can actually deal with the issue. And one of the biggest problems, especially when it comes down to the feral population in that area, is rabies. Now, granted, when it comes down to it, at this time, which I'm going to get to that in a second, the laws stated that they couldn't kill any of the feral dogs in the area. But I would have to assume at this point that more than likely, and as I'm recording this video, this post that she made was about 2 weeks ago. The video in question was made over 3 years ago. So I think I would have to assume by this time they more have figured out a way to deal with the feral dog population. If not, they may still be continuing or trying to find a way to deal with it. But in that regard, again, she's trying to pull evidence from a video that occurred, or at least a situation that was occurring, again, 3 years ago. And more likely has had enough time to figure out a solution to dealing with the problem. So, in this case, especially when it comes down to trying to make her argument, she's literally just trying to grasp at straws, basically, to try to prove her point. And by the way, K9-Aversion, just so you know, I know you watch her videos. You know why. Or you know what people are talking about and what people have specified when it comes to you getting help. It's not with you, people telling you to, love dogs or grow to love dogs. It's the fact that you're fucking nuts. That's what people talk about.
I've blocked a number of people today who've left comments that deny science when it comes to veganism, COVID, and cats. And I am wary. Listen, denial isn't an option. It isn't a valid opinion. Why would I tolerate science denial here? My channel is based on science.
No, it's not.
It amazes me how dog haters are perfectly content to listen to scientists when the scientific research can be used to back up their hatred for dogs.
So, translation, they only listen when it backs up their hatred for the animal.
When scientists publish studies that conflict with your personal beliefs about veganism, cats, climate change, vaccines, or COVID, though, all of a sudden listening to scientists makes us brainwashed by mainstream media. Get out of here. We have no time for you. You don't get to pick and choose when to listen to scientists.
That's really funny coming from you.
Science is true whether you believe it or not. Your dangerous conspiracy theories and wacky beliefs are not welcome here. We care about humanity.
No, you don't.
Science deniers are a much bigger threat to humanity than dogs are. We have no time for people who bitch about how dangerous dogs are while denying science.
Again, it's funny that this is coming from K9-Aversion because especially with every time myself or many others have brought up information to her that basically goes against what she says in her videos, she denies it. She doesn't want to look at the information because, again, she is unfortunately so caught up with her own delusions, her own fears, that she isn't willing to look at a second opinion. Especially when, again, because she wants to claim other people, or kind of set it up as if other people are guilty of this, doesn't acknowledge what scientists say. Especially when it comes down to, science obviously being right about certain situations. But again, K9-Aversion wants to play it as if she's the one who is in the right when everybody else is quote-unquote in the wrong, when in reality we're not.
There are so many people on YouTube who say, I hate dogs so much that I use stories of mauled/deceased children to further my agenda. They say I hate cats so much that I use the environment as a tool to try to win people over to my way of thinking. It is incomprehensible to them that I actually do care about children and the environment. They just can't imagine such a thing. They assume I think and operate the same way they do. They engage in psychological projection, the placing of their traits onto others. What this shows me is that we are dealing with people who are intensely selfish, uncaring, deceptive, and manipulative. They lack the capacity to care about anything other than their own selfish goals, but will profess to care if it helps them achieve their goals. This is why I don't believe dog worshippers care about dogs. They will say they care passionately for dogs, but I don't think they care about dogs at all. Pretending that they care is a means to an end. It's all an act that helps them achieve their goal. Their goal is to make others believe they are good, kind, loving, compassionate people.
For some reason, this one post kind of reminds me of one of my favorite reviews from Nostalgia Critic, and that was for the Man of Steel review. So I have the clip on me right this second, so why don't I go ahead and play it, because to an extent, with her talking like this, it kind of makes me think of this clip.
What is that?
I don't know where to start. Wherever you want.
I can't make that out. What is that?
Do you know why they want you? No.
I can't hear you of your obvious symbolism!
Jesus! I am Jesus!
We got the point, okay? Go to the next scene! Go to the next...
And no, I'm not trying to make the comparison or make the claim that she thinks herself as somebody who is holier than thou. I mean, in her eyes, she thinks she is. But in reality, she's not. And in fact, anything that she says, especially with the last two posts that I have shared with you guys, can ironically be redirected to her. Especially with, in the last post, again, when certain sciences are brought up to her attention, especially when it comes to the animals that she discusses or talks about, she ignores it. And if anything, just doesn't acknowledge it. And it goes on to this too. Especially when a lot of us, including myself, have mentioned the fact that when it comes down to her continuously using the death and maulings of children, as well as other people who have suffered from dog attacks, she uses this because, again, because I have to say it time and time again with these videos, this is an individual who is clearly delusional, fearful of the animal they talk about, and will do anything to get people to agree with her. And what better way to motivate people to your cause, or rally people to your cause, than to continuously bring up and use the maulings and death of children, as well as, you know, what's been going on, especially when it comes down to certain tragedies that have occurred in a variety of different areas all around the world when it comes to dog attacks. I mean, let's face it, especially when it comes down to people who rally to a cause, usually fear is a great motivator. And K9-Aversion has repeatedly proven herself to be an individual who is able to manipulate people into listening to what she has to say. And unfortunately using the people's own fears of these animals against them, so that way they can join her cause and follow her and blindly believe everything she fucking says. So, when it comes down to it, just the bottom line, because again, this was mostly to make fun of her community page. Her community page is trash, okay? And it's even funny when she even brings up some of the things that we've discussed. Because it's ironic. Actually, I don't know if I can call it ironic. It's just stupid. Because, and as we talked about previously with a variety of other people, I guess, if anything, like probably one of my most recent videos, which being talking about social repose, this is another example of people who, when it comes to criticism, just can't handle it. So, I guess, if anything, final thoughts, especially to K9-Aversion. Get help. You truly need it. But, anywho, I think I'm going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you have any thoughts, leave it in the comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description down below, as well as check out our daily content and the weekly podcast. With that being said, this is Novakast signing off. Have a good one, take care, and peace.